To create a new users table, we need to use the SQL code from userstable.txt, which will create a new table in our database for the users. So we can copy and paste this SQL code into PHP click on the SQL tab, paste the code in the box, and then press the Go button. This will create our new table in the database. So in register PHP, we need to change the form action. So at the minute it's a hashtag. So we're just going to change that to register_user.php. And this is where the form will be processed. So there is some code for the register user page. You can just copy and paste that from registeruser.txt and paste that into a new file, save it as a PHP document. And what this file does is it will process the user registration login form, and it will also hash the password for security and then insert everything into users table. So we can now test the registration page. We can put in some sample data, press the register button, and then this will redirect us to the login page. So we can see if this has been inserted into the database. Just click on the Browse tab and we can see that our new user has now been added to the database. So in login PHP, we need to change the form action to authenticate.php. Where the login button is, we need to change this to a submit type. With a value of login. Delete the button tag. Then remove the word login and close button tag at the end of the line. Save the file. This is a free script that you can download and use. The first thing it does includes the database connection file. Then we have to start a session so that we can set the super global variables on the server. This section of code will check for errors when connecting to the database and display an error message if a connection cannot be made. This section of code will check the user has entered a username and password in the login form. If any of these fields are blank, then an error message will be displayed. Then we need to prepare a SQL statement. Preparing a statement like this will prevent SQL injection attacks and maintain secure coding practices. Then we need to bind the parameters to the SQL query. In this case, we need username, which is a string, and then we can execute the query and store the result. If the query returns a result, then there is a matching username in our database. So then we can check the password. We'll use the PHP function password verify to check the hash password stored in the database. Then we can set the session variables to say the user has logged in. And we can then redirect them to the My Account page. If the password is not correct, then we can display an error message for the user, and same if there's no matching username in the database. Finally, we close the database connection. To create the My Account page, we can just copy the blank page template and paste this into a new file. So we can just paste this code in a new file and save it as myaccount.php. So open header.php and insert some PHP code at the top of the page. This will be used to start a new PHP session if one has not been started already, and we need to use the sessions to record the session variables that we're going to use to monitor whether a user is logged in or not. So now we can test our login function. So this is the same user that we registered earlier. So let's put the details in again. You press login and we are shown My Account page. So So in the My Account page, we want to change the text to say My Account rather than the template text. And we'll also display a personal message for the user. So at the top of the page, underneath Include Header, we want to assign the value associated with the name in the session superglobal array. This is the username that the user is logged in with. Then create another variable called display message and assign a welcome message with the user's username. Where the text message is, replace this with an echo statement to show the personalized greeting on the page. Now we can test this out using the same credentials as we did before, and we can see that when we log in, the My Account page is now more personalized. In header.php, we need to write some more PHP code which will check if the user has been logged in. If the user is not logged in, then the session variable is set to false. If they are logged in, then it will be set to true. So if the user is logged in, then we want to display a slightly different menu in the header, as we need to include a logout link. So we'll set the text to display in the menu, which will be logout. And the page link will be logout.php. Otherwise, we want to display the login link in the menu. So scroll down to where the links are displayed for the menu and change the ahref link from login PHP to instead display whatever page is stored in the log page variable. Then change the text to display whatever is stored in log link variable. So if we log in again using the same credentials, we can now see that the word logout is displayed in the menu instead of login. We've also got register in there, so we're going to get rid of that next. So we'll have some PHP code in the menu to check if the user is logged in. If they're not logged in, then we want to display the links to the registration page. If they are logged in, then this link will not be displayed. So to test this, we can just refresh the My Account page and we can see that the logout link is there and the register link has now disappeared because the user is logged in. So for the logout function, you can just use this logout script. So here we're just pasting that logout script and putting it in a new file and just saving it as logout.php. And finally, we'll just test if the user can log out. So we just click log out and we're taken back to the home page, which now displays both the login and register links because the user is now logged out.